Guardians of the Galaxy was everything that I hoped it would be. It was so epic and so fun. Thanks to James Gunn, Marvel have their next big moneymaker. It was just so great. As you probably know, this is my most anticipated film of the summer, and I'm so happy that it didn't disappoint. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Dave Bautista were fantastic in their roles. They all brought their A games to play these A-holes. Chris Pratt is going to be huge. Look out for him in the upcoming Jurassic World film. Star-Lord as a character seems to be a parody of both Indiana Jones and Han Solo. Pratt nailed that performance. Zoe Saldana was as badass as she always is in action films, and I'm glad to see she didn't become a standard love interest for Star-Lord. Of course, he does have the hots for her, but come on, she makes the green look good. Gamora is one dangerous lady. Dave Bautista played Drax the Destroyer. Drax is awesome. His race take things literally, which makes his introduction to the group very funny. I shan't go into detail though, because I do not want to spoil it. As James Gunn himself said, a wrestler who can actually act? Oh yes, indeed. Vin Diesel did a great job of saying, I am Groot. After voicing the Iron Giant, Vin has some experience in voicing big, cute creatures, and although he didn't say a lot, he said everything. I love him, and so will you. Bradley Cooper was the choice I was most dubious about. I thought the Rocket's voice seemed a bit too much in the trailers, and that it may take me out of the movie, but it really didn't. He brought just the right amount of sass and fierceness needed to play the gun-toting raccoon. The one thing everyone will agree on is the adorableness of Groot. I am Groot, yes, but also, I am cute. I'm not gonna lie, some of the things he did made me squeal with delight. The popularity of Groot will go through the roof, as it will with all of the Guardians in fact. Groot may have been my favourite, but they were all genuinely awesome characters. This film may propel them to the same heights of popularity as the Avengers, and if not the Avengers, then at least X-Men or Fantastic Four. Remember Fantastic Four? Whatever happened to them? Like, I know they're getting a film, but no one seems to care. Okay, let's talk about James Gunn, the man in charge. He put together this epic space opera, and so let's all show thanks to him by going and seeing this movie hundreds of times. His other films appeal to a specific audience perhaps, but this one, it's perfect for everyone. I don't see how anyone could dislike it. There's loads of witty dialogue, some dim-witted dialogue, and even slapstick humour thrown in to ensure that this movie is hilarious. This movie appeals to everyone. Except perhaps those prejudiced against sci-fi films, or as I like to call them, buffoons. This film is so colourful, and that's another reason to love it. Gunn looked at most other films coming out these days and saw that being grimy and gritty is now mainstream. In an interview he said, I love Blade Runner, but since then, space has either been very dark or very green, and I wanted to return the colour that used to exist in sci-fi. He has done just that. Even the characters are multicoloured. There are some green people and some blue people, and a particularly hot blue one too. No, not that one. I'm talking about this one, Karen Gillan's character, Nebula. If you have seen any of the trailers, you'll probably see that the film is heavily inspired by Star Wars, and I don't want people to think that it is a rip-off, because it isn't. It's its own thing. However, the similarities include they are both adventures that occur across numerous planets in space. There is a lovable rogue in both, and both have a creature who is tall, strong, and can only truly communicate with one other member of the gang. Both films also have epic space battles and are deeply rooted in 80s culture. Speaking of 80s culture, I've been listening to the soundtrack for weeks now, and in the case of some of the tracks that were revealed early on, months. The Super Awesome mixtape is, as expected, super awesome, but hearing it in the actual film makes it even better. The 80s pop ballads will have you bobbing your head along, and it contributes to the general enjoyment of the film. I encourage you to give it a listen. However, in and amongst all of the great things I have to say, I found one small complaint. It's only minor though. I believe that they could have used Hooked on a Feeling to a better extent. Or at least they should have used it more than once. You may have heard that a sequel is scheduled for release in 2017, and I'm sure the world will be waiting on the edge of their seats until then. I know I will be. I'm sure you realise that I'm a huge fan of this film, and I would like to discuss it even more and perhaps go into spoilers territory, so watch out for a spoiler discussion video. If you have any questions about the film, or if you have any thoughts that you'd like me to discuss in that video, then leave them in the comments below. If you want to see the other videos in which I discussed Guardians of the Galaxy, then click here. But for now, okay, thanks, bye!